Hickok 45.
His shots ring from the woods.
Woo!
Life is good. Shoots wherever and he probably should. He's here in Nashville neighborhood. Life is good. Shooting down in the woods. Life is good. He wouldn't leave you even if he could.
Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. In fact, Middle Tennessee, the home of Dave Ramsey, Caleb Plant, Jeff Quinn, many others, right? And here am I shooting 357 Magnum, bait and switch. You saw a bolt action, didn't you, in the thumbnail? Well, a couple of firearms out here. Thought I would shoot today. We're calling my name. One of them is my old Model 28. Well, I haven't had it but, what, a couple of years? But it is an old 5-screw Model 28, 357 Magnum, in-frame, Smith & Wesson. Okay, pretty cool. 357 Magnum or 38 Special. And, excuse me, it was in the safe where I could see it, where I could identify it by those cool stag grips. I've been noticing it lately and thought, we've got a lot of guns in and out for various videos that required a lot of firearms, and I need to get that out too, take a few shots with that. That just needs to be fired, no doubt about it. So, Swedish Mauser, the Husqvarna, going to shoot it, and just have a little fun today. And again, disclaimer, this is a Sunday video for new people or haters or people who wander in. This is a talk and shoot video. Sunday morning videos are a little different, okay? So you may not like them, even knowing they're different, but that gives you an opportunity, a warning. There you go, a warning, disclaimer. So what do I know? Oh, not a lot. I want to talk about this gun, this Model 38 Husqvarna, which is a Swedish Mauser round, 6.5 by 55. I'm going to shoot a little bit. I like these, as you know. We have 2 videos on this firearm, and I actually came by another one at a gun show, and so I'm going to donate this one to the Tennessee Firearms Association banquet auction in September 3rd, I believe. So, and I'll see some of you there. And so this firearm I'll donate to that auction, okay? Drop it off to John Harris sometime over the next few weeks. And this will be the last day I'll shoot this one. But guess what? I have another one, and I've not shot it as much. Well, this one that much either. But anyway, made in 1941, so I'll take some shots today with that. And that's why it's out here. Chance to shoot it one last time. And let you know if you're going to that event that I try to attend about every year if we're in town. So, and try to donate a firearm every, I guess I have for 5 years, I don't know, however long, but something whether it's an LCP or something nicer, just depends on the year. So, what else? So every day, and I probably have some Talon grips in my pocket. Yeah, I do, don't I? Just happened to have that. So anyway, appreciate everybody that helps us out. And more about buds in a minute. What else? Well, yeah, I guess that is, yeah, more about buds is right. Saw some of you at the Sevierville Buds Gun Shop last weekend for the meet and greet, and that worked out really well. And enjoyed meeting all of you, big crowd, and about lost my voice. But that's okay. It was fun, and saw a lot of you there. And can I shoot this before I tell you about that? If you were there, I don't need to tell you about it, right? But some of you weren't there. You had some lame excuse like, well, I live in Alaska, Hickok. You know, like that's an excuse. It's not that far from Tennessee. You know, you could ride your bike. You know, or if you're really lame, you could get a flight or something. I don't know. So anyway, this is 6.5. Oh, I forgot my pad. By 55. Let's shoot something like a bowling pin. How's that? Yeah, boy. How about another bowling pin? How about a gong? I think I hit the gong with the shot I took with that pistol, didn't I? In opening. There's that sound. How about a turkey? All right. Act like I know where to hold. Maybe that was low. Okay. On the red plate. Gosh. The 6.5 by 55, the Swedish round. Oh, I tell you all this every time. I know, but it is a sweet, the Swedish sweet, the sweet Swedish round, and much like the 6.5 Creedmoor, but plenty of punch really for most things, and low recoiling. Just a fine bullet, really is. Cartridge. I thoroughly enjoy shooting it, and you know, in a carbine, which of course most bolt actions are, you know, in this length category. It's funny, the Model 96 I have, Swedish Mauser, is one of the big old long guns. You know, it really absorbs whatever little recoil there is. But even in these shorter ones, it's the Model 38s. It's you know, it's just extremely pleasant to shoot. So 1941, right on the thing. Just cool. Guns are, a lot of them are like, well, they're like coins in a way, because they're not that hard to determine the born on date, right? The year. Many of them will have the old military rifles and things will have the year right on it, and then most firearms will have a serial number, which can be traced back to the year it was made. You know, based on the serial numbers. Sometimes that's a little harder. Some you can just get within a range, get close, you know, within a year or two, and others you can you know, look it up and it gives you the year. My shirt on backwards? No. So, oh yeah, nice. I have to get that Model 96 out again too. They're just fun to shoot. Wow. So yeah, here I am. Yeah. Anyway, the meet and greet was really good. Saw a lot of you, met you there, and it was really neat. The highlight, one of the highlights, was one of the first people in the line was a former student of mine and her family, her husband and two kids that were, I don't know, I think the girl was maybe, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something, and the boy was a little bit younger, I think. But anyway, I hadn't seen her since about the time she was in the 7th grade or 8th grade. And she showed up with her family. It was neat. It was really neat to see her. I didn't recognize her, of course, but definitely remembered her, you know, with her name, and it gave me her name, you know, and that mental picture of her. I think I even remember where she sat in my classroom, you know, and this would have been in the, the 90s. She was like, I can kind of place her because it was before we moved into the new building and my last teaching incarnate, although I can place her. She was in 7th grade, sometime in the mid to, I think mid 90s, you know, maybe later 90s, but it definitely in the 90s. And so that goes back a ways. You know, you think of people like whenever you were around them, and then you don't see them for a long time, you always think of them the way they looked at that point, right? I still do that with students, even knowing they're not 13 or 12, but you still think of them that way. That's your mental picture of them. And some of them I would see, a lot of them, you know, later too, as they're going through high school and everything in the same campus, but not always. And you know, and all of a sudden you see them and they're whatever. How old would she be? She wouldn't want me guessing her age, would she? But if you're about 12 or 13, say in 1995, guess what? That's going to put about, what, 20, 30 more years on you, you know. So that usually means you're an adult then, right? You're an adult by then. So anyway, it's interesting with family and everything. It's always cool. It'd be great to somewhere have a day when you could like see every student, if you were a teacher, that you ever taught, you know, and just see them, their family and how they've grown up and what they look like and their family and all that. And I do see some of that on Facebook. Not a lot, a few of them, and I'll scroll through every now and then and see. But it's just amazed. I'm amazed when I see the big families, you know, and I still think of them as cute little seventh graders, you know, when I had them. It's just funny how everybody grows up. So anyway, it's good to meet everybody, and again, I'm always it's always a little remarkable, or I'm always pleased that there's such a range. There's some really little kids, speaking of kids, really little ones. And I always joke with them, their family, about, you know, you don't make them watch it. Yeah, they watch it. You know, they wouldn't come see you or something. They're like 6 years old or something. And you may have seen the picture John posted on Instagram, me holding a little girl, and another little guy like that too at some point. I don't know if we got pictures of all. Then we never end up with pictures. I was glad John snapped a couple. But, you know, little kids, you know, and then, of course, teenagers and 20-somethings and 30-somethings and some old guys like me or younger, but just a wide range of people. And we've always liked that everybody, you know, men, women, all age groups, all whatever you would, races, colors, creeds, you know, the whole 9 yards, you know, that all come out to the meet and greets. And of course I engage on a daily basis on messaging and everything, that everybody seems to feel comfortable watching the videos, and that's important to us. You know, it's important to us that we're not hopefully alienating anybody. Is that camera crooked? I don't know. It's all right. I'm a little off center anyway. If someone feels alienated watching the videos, then I think that's coming from them, right? So anyway, a good event, and it's always fun to meet the viewers. We met a lot of you in the last month or so, you know, in Houston, hundreds, and then of course this weekend, a lot of you. So what else? Can I shoot this revolver again? How about that? Nothing like an end frame. And you know, these end frames, Smith & Wesson, wow. Have you priced these old Smith & Wessons lately? Of course, have you priced the new ones lately? But these things, they're getting to be like Colt single actions almost, in terms of you know, collecting, quote unquote, or if you're looking for one to purchase, you decide you'd like an old Smith & Wesson Model 29 or something like this, or anything especially that goes back into the pin barrel era, you know, recessed cylinders, chambers. They just commanding high prices. It doesn't have to be because it's a gun broker and somebody, you know, trying to make a fortune on one. It's just wherever you see them, they are high. I guess that means they're a good investment, quote unquote, right? At least that's what you tell your spouse, right? But you know, I don't know. I guess it just catches me off guard, and it's more noticeable to me than maybe some other firearms. For example, Colt single actions. I didn't get into those until a little bit later, and but in my first days, well, you know, the Model 19 Smith & Wesson that I bought in 72, 73. I was able to really save up my money and buy an old pin barrel Model 19. Pretty funny, huh? Actually, they were all pin barrel at that time, recessed cylinder. But so that was the, those Smith & Wessons I got into in a big way in the 70s, the Model 29s and different barrel lengths, and the Model 27s, the 19, and, different ones. They were all pin barrel, recessed cylinders, just like this. And so it's hard for me to I guess think of them as so collectible and ancient or whatever, but that was the 70s. That's been a while, isn't it? So, but man, they command a high price. All right. And now you have people who just collect them like they do old Colts or anything else just because of their value, and probably don't even shoot them, unlike me, right? 38 Special, a gentler, more friendly bullet. See if the cowboy thinks so. Yeah, he didn't cry out as loud. How about the gong? Yeah, you can tell by now, you should be able to tell what I'm shooting if you have been absorbing the education, by how long it takes for you to hear the hit, right? Let's hit that Kentucky 2-liter. For example, if you go back, I think I hit it on my last shot as we opened, as you all arrived. Those were Magnum rounds, 158 grain Federal Magnum. That's what hit it, I think, the 6th shot as we were opening it. Ah, the sweet sound of music. My neighbors are shooting. I think I hit it, and unless I was hearing things or not hearing things. Again, it gets there so fast, sometimes it's hard to tell, right? And so big difference in the time delay and all that. So pretty cool. Good old gun. Can't beat it. So what else is going on? I don't know. Let's see. One thing that's hit me lately, we post some shorts, videos on YouTube and also on Instagram some, and well, they call them reels there, whatever. But some, I was shooting one of the Class 3 firearms, AK, or one of John's M16 or his M60 or something. Sometimes just having fun with it, and I'm seeing that. I guess the shorts, and maybe reels too on Instagram, I don't know, but shorts seem to, the short videos, shorts as they're officially called, for you folks who don't know what those are yet, they seem to get out to the general population more. And oh man, there's some real gun haters, and it's just so obvious that that there's so many gun haters out there, and they're watching gun videos of all things, at least shorts. But it's so interesting, and even when it's not a full auto thing, if it's any kind of firearm, a regular AR or a revolver or whatever, you see so many comments about it. There's no need for those. There's no need for those. They need to be banned. There's no need for an AR-15, and it's really pulling in all the anti-gunners. And of course, I think right now they're making a point to troll around all the gun videos, and let their voices be heard, because I am sure some of them, most of them, are so shallow in their thinking, right, that they think they're going to actually influence, people, the people who make the videos like us, firearms collectors like you, shooters like you, who are interested in firearms videos, interested in firearms. You'll probably change your mind when you see them posting that these should be banned, or no one should be allowed to have that. So it tells you the depth of their intellect, doesn't it? But anyway, I think in thinking about that, it occurred to me that I may have talked about this before. I think a lot of these people, you can tell some of these people, they are in their bubble. They have no clue that, they don't even think these should be allowed, and much less an AR-15 or an M16 or whatever. It just blows their mind, you can tell. I think a lot of those people that are in that bubble and I've said this for years, I don't think they realize how common these things are. I believe they just think it's just a few weirdos on YouTube have these, and then somehow somebody gets a hold of one and they take it into a mall and shoot people or something. I think that's kind of their mindset. They don't realize that an AR-15 is so incredibly common. How many million are we estimate now out there? It was like over 20 million several years ago. It's probably 50 million. I don't know. But I don't think they realize that half their neighbors probably have one. Or some of those same firearms they think are so horrible, and that I think they think aren't even very prevalent, And if they could just put a little more pressure on the Second Amendment and politicians, they can just kind of erase those, get rid of them, because there are not that many people that would have those dangerous things. I really do think a lot of them think that way. Now, some of them know better maybe, and they just want to start eradicating all firearms. But I really think they're just appalled and don't realize. Well, think about it. How many of them, again, the folks who are really rabid anti-gunners that never been to a gun show probably never been in a gun shop, never been to a shooting match, don't know people who own firearms, right? It's easy to hate something if you don't know anybody, that has that. And so, just like someone who is a bigot, a racial bigot of some sort, because they don't know anybody that's different from them, and never have growing up or something. It's easy to be like racist or say racist things or something, if you've never been around anybody of a different color or different background, that sort of thing. They don't know anybody. They don't have any friends with guns. They don't know anybody that has a carry permit. What's a carry permit, Why would someone have a weapon of war? What in the world? Where do they get those? So I think there's a big element of that, and I don't know how you address that really. I don't know. They don't realize that so many people they meet on a daily basis have an AR-15 at home, probably. So that just occurred to me. But wow, it's just amazing. It is amazing. The people and here's a quote I saw. Someone said on one of those videos that, imagine school kids seeing that. Imagine school kids seeing that. Yeah, imagine school kids seeing that. Yeah, imagine anybody seeing a firearm, whether it's an M16 or AR-15 or a semi-automatic shotgun. Yeah, imagine them seeing that. Duh, yeah, like in every movie and every video game and online anywhere else, 99.99% of people see that stuff their whole lives. Doesn't affect them other than they might want to become a gun collector. If they have violent tendencies, I guess, they're gonna maybe act something out whether they see that or not. But just, that mindset, gosh, what if a kid saw that? What if a teenager saw that gun? It's so, kind of, if you want to play pop psychologist, and I answer some of them that way if I'm in the mood to. If when you, and I've said this to people occasionally, again, I don't go around answering these people, occasionally I will just for fun if I see something. Because they want to say something insulting about, yeah, that's a great gun for school shooters or something, like that kind of thing. And I will answer them, and you may have seen me do that. Well, if when you see a firearm, you think of school shooting, that's a little disturbing. and I don't know whether the FBI needs to be keeping an eye on you. At the minimum, you might need to be in therapy, you know. And so I'm halfway kidding, but then again, maybe I'm not. You know, really, if you see a firearm of any type and it brings to mind like a mass shooting, that's what it makes you think of. You've got a huge gap in your life experience, right? Or you're just so politically driven, you know. But anyway, that just strikes me as bizarre. And you know, the other thing is funny while I'm talking about that, I'll load this gun. You know, people make jokes about on muzzle loading videos. Some of you maybe about like some of the Civil War rifles or whatever. You know, just what our founding fathers intended or something like that, you know, and you don't mean anything by it, but there are people, you'll still see people, and I saw one this week once, and that's what they're serious. That's what our founding fathers meant for us to have, you know, muzzle loaders and all these modern firearms, you know, are not what they had in mind, et cetera, you know. People still make those comments with a straight face, I guess. You know, it never occurs to them. Of course, you know what the smart thing to that if you ever have someone tell you that, you know, say, yeah, I agree with you, and we should still be writing with a quill pen, not a typewriter or a computer or the internet or social media. None of that. All that should be banned. You know, that the founding fathers had none of that in mind. I mean, it is so dumb and so shallow that it really doesn't deserve an answer, right? It's just it's amazing anybody can be that slow-minded, I guess. I don't know. All right, speaking of slow-minded, I'm gonna take a shot. How about a 2-liter big Swiss round, or Swedish round, not Swiss. If I can hit that red plate. Stirring up a lot of dust, aren't I? 6 o'clock hold seemed to do it. All right. Pretty cool. Could shoot that all day and you would have no bruise on your shoulder. Okay, even if you don't shoot a lot, I do believe that. Yep, and Neil Smith. I'll tell you what, a couple of classics, really. I mean, I go 5-screw Smith, and then a 1941 vintage bolt gun. That's been a while. Yeah, 60, 70, 80, over 80 years still shooting, and probably as accurate and as solid as the day it was made. It's a cool thing about firearms. They really last a long time. Most people don't fire them enough to wear them out, right? You can, I mean, what are you gonna wear out? The barrel, if you shot 50,000 rounds through it, maybe, it would lose some accuracy. So, anyway, what do you want to shoot? Let's shoot this 38. I say 38. You know, someone asked me the other day, why isn't it called 38 Magnum? And that's a good question, right? It all goes back to the original naming of the cartridge, 38 Special. That's back the turn of the century. You know, what, 1898 or 1900, whatever, the 38 Special. And part of that was because the cartridges back then, they were the heel type bullets, and like a 22 is, and so the outer dimensions of it were more of a 38. Then when we started, and that's true for several calibers, and then when they quit doing that and making sure the bullet was down in the case, all of it, and there was none of it hanging over like a 22 long rifle, then the diameter of the bullet was reduced a little bit. That's a lot of that reasoning. The same with like a 44, some of the others. Okay, that's why the 44 is really a 43 caliber, and it's why a 38 is actually a 357. You know, it's a 36 caliber. You get right down through it, so that's part of that. So actually 357 Magnum is named more accurately in terms of the size of the bullet. Okay? No charge for that. Not a bit. Good old revolver. It's hard to believe these things, big old revolvers like this were carried by a lot of people, you know, where there's a big old 44, a 45, the new service, the triple locks, and all this. In fact, by highway patrolmen for a long time, and cops all around the country, big old end frames, because the 357 Magnum was really popular, and whew, that's a chunk. That's a chunk to carry, no doubt about it. Sweet to shoot, especially with 38s. Speaking of cops and all that, I've seen a lot this week on law enforcement and everything, and you know, we've been living with this defund the police for a couple of years now, and the craziness, and departments are having a hard time recruiting and filling positions. Detectives and everybody, they're just retiring if they possibly can. They're just getting out, changing professions, and it's not as much. Well, it's a money issue to some extent. They're defunded, and I'm sure in a lot of the cities that they're not getting raises that maybe they normally have gotten, and that kind of thing. So it is a money issue as well, but it's largely a respect issue, you know, really, when you're thinking about a career. And, you know, one of the things I just want to again reiterate, if you're thinking about a career in law enforcement, or if you're in law enforcement, most people do not think that way. I mean, not many no sensible people. And the percentage of people who want to like defund the police and want to get rid of the police departments and have no respect at all for police officers, that's a small percentage of people, but guess what? They're the loudest, right? And you all know that. I've talked to police officers and cops that know that, but a lot don't, and you still feel the heat, and you feel the pressure of doing the wrong thing, you know, and backing off, afraid to make an arrest when you really need to protect the rest of us, you know, because you just, you know, it could go awry, and then you're in trouble over whatever, just because of the visual of something or whatever it might be. And but anyway, if you're a young person and you're thinking about a career in law enforcement, or you're rethinking it now because of all the craziness for the last 2 years, please don't opt out. The vast majority of people have a brain and know that that profession is essential, that you are essential, okay? And they want you, we want you in that job. The more the better. No, nobody wants a police state. As I've said many times, there's nothing more obnoxious than a police officer who, with an major ego problem that you've had an encounter with, right? And because they have the power. They have the gun, they have the power, the legal side of things on their side, everything. So if it's abused, it's really, really bad. There's no doubt about that. But that is so rare that happens. And again, people with common sense know that. They know that you're needed and you're respected. Yeah, you really are. I mean, society doesn't exist without you. It doesn't. So if you're thinking of that career, don't let all the craziness in the news deter you. Go ahead. People are going to appreciate you. And there may be cities where they don't, but move somewhere where they do. Let those cities, if they want to defund the police department totally, and you're going to have absolutely no respect there, yeah, just move somewhere. Because most parts of the country, that's not the case. You know, move to a more rural area, move to a smaller city, and let them fend for themselves. You know, and you see what's happening. Police officers leaving those cities, and we could name them, right? Citizens are leaving. I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Some of these cities are going to be ghost towns, eventually, I guess. Or they're going to be like the movie Escape from New York or something. It's just going to be a place where nobody wants to live. Nobody with a brain wants to live, or anybody that doesn't want anarchy is going to want to live. But anyway, just something to keep in mind. And I guess that's my advice for young people this week. If you've thought about a career in law enforcement, don't let the idiocy you see on the news and all that deter you. Just you might want to pick your location carefully, where you live, where you practice your chosen career, right? And be fair to people and just go on and do your job. Do your job, and people will respect you. We do respect you. We respect that position. You have to do something to lose that respect. That's kind of the way I am with it. You might do something that would cause you to lose my respect, but I'm going to assume you're there for the right reason and that you're going to be professional. Because with all my various encounters with police officers, yeah, I've had 2 or 3 that were not desirable encounters, but of all of them I've ever had, they're just doing their job, and in most cases even very friendly. So anyway, just keep that in mind. We've got to have you guys out there. I need another drink of my elite water. Losing my voice. Told you I talked too much last week. I meted and greeted too many people. So anyway, all right. God, what should I shoot next? Let's shoot this Swedish Mauser. Okay, before I give it away. I've had this. I don't know, 3-4 years, I guess. I got two videos on it. So whoever ends up with it in the auction, there's a couple of videos on it, in addition to today. All right, and I go through the history and all the lies I can tell you about the Husqvarna Model 38. In that video, in both of those, I guess. All right, let's hit the gong. Turkey. Oh, did I miss it? Not in that time. Oh, there's a ram over there. I don't know if it'll knock that off or not. Only if I hit it, right? There we go. We got us a ram, a sheep. So, pretty cool. 6.5 by 55. Swedish Mauser round. This is specifically Husqvarna, but I think of it as a Model 38 Swedish Mauser. In fact, I think that's what I have those videos named or titled. I don't know, maybe I should just call them Husqvarna Model 38. I don't know. So, very, very nice, very nice. No doubt about it. Anything else you're dying to know about? Let's see if there's anything else I was dying to share with you. Probably not. But I had a great week. John and I driving over to the Smoky Mountains. We went over the night before. He did some comedy that night. And then we ate in Pigeon Forge, had lunch at the, what was that place called? The Fort Worth, Texas Kitchen, I guess. Well, actually, it's in Sevierville, I think. And then we went and meted and greeted all of you, and it was good to see you. It's always good to hang out in the gun shop, right? And signed some hats. They had a bunch of our hats there, and we signed a bunch of those. The people that had hats, and they sell our hats there, and I guess online and at the locations, I guess. And again, we appreciate Bud's handling that for us. We're going to move into T-shirts as well, but right now I think we just have 4 or 5 different hats, and then some gun cases and things like that. So those can be found at Bud's online or at their brick and mortar stores. Okay, so that is, if you've never been to Sevierville, many of you that live in other parts of the world watching this, or other parts of the country, may not be aware. That is the main. That's the Smoky Mountains. Okay, just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. You got Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, moving right into Gatlinburg. You're in the highest mountains and all that. So I think the Smoky Mountains are still the most visited national park in the country. Okay, and it's ready to cross. It's partly because of where it is. I guess Yellowstone or somewhere else might be if it weren't so far away. Not too far away if you live in Montana, right? But there's such a high density of population, in the eastern United States. So there's, I mean, no matter where you live in the eastern, say east of Mississippi, you're no further, I guess, than 5, 6, 8 hours, from the Smoky Mountains. Actually, it's a drive probably, unless you're up in northern Maine, maybe. So, and it's a crossroads, and so Tennessee is a big tourist state. Again, we're kind of centralized for that, coming up from the south or down from the north. So we love all that tax money, coming in from out of state. But we pay a lot ourselves, almost a 10% sales tax, but we don't have a state income tax like Florida and some other states, Texas. So we are glad you come and spend your money here, right? But anyway, that is a beautiful area. It's rather mountainous and just gorgeous. Knoxville area, all of East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee as well. West Tennessee, yeah, okay, it's kind of flat. But when you get into Middle and then East Tennessee, it's just gorgeous. If you ever get a chance, if you've not been there, I would highly recommend get to that area. Sevierville and Gatlinburg. Now, it's really busy in the summer. It's highly traveled, as I said. But if you're retired or you can travel at a different time, early spring or something, or fall, it would be a great time to go too. So I will let you go, and I am glad you came by. I really am. I'm a little early this week. Got a lot going on, but so if the world ends this week, I'll just not know anything about it, I guess. I'll update the video perhaps. Okay. So glad you came out. Again, I thank the people that came out at the meet and greet. We don't do a lot of meet and greets, but we've done 3 or 4, just in the last month or two. So it just depends on what's going on. We may do another one up in Lexington at Bud's shop up there, and I don't know, in the fall, later summer, sometime in the fall. We used to do one a year in those areas, and before COVID, and just haven't done it for a couple of years. So maybe we'll get back to doing at least a couple, every year somewhere, okay? And maybe get a chance to greet you and meet you. Although I meet and greet a lot of you, when I'm out and around. So, but we get a place where we land and you can come by. All right, I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you next week. And maybe, you know what? Let's just leave with some gunfire. How's that? Let's leave as I'm firing some bullets down range. What do I have here? I've got some Personal Defense 38 Special Plus P. I brought those out to maybe fire them. So let's just fire 6 more from one of my favorite revolvers before I kick you out of here. How about you, cowboy? Click. 6-shooter. That's why they call it a 6-shooter. Holds 6 rounds. Life is good.